just to put the last conversation in a nice little bow, we started off by saying, do you think hardships make you stronger? And where we got to was, I'm going to try and remove all the hardships from my child's life. And I think I sent you that clip of Dawn Staley talking about, like, I'm better than your parents because I'm not better, but I'm different than your parents because I love you enough to let you fail, like, you know. And I think that's part of what I was kind of trying to get to, or kind of what, not if I didn't make that point, that's kind of the point where it's like we cannot shield them from everything. And I was just thinking about it earlier, that you learn a lot about yourself when you get punched in the mouth, you know? And I think that's kind of part of that. Like, you know what I mean? It's part of, how do you know that you're doing the wrong thing if you're not, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have to take an L sometimes, you know. But the thing that I was trying to make clear is that the L don't have to come from you. I think that's a different thing. I think those two things are different things in the grasp of kind of what we're talking about. I think L's come naturally, but you don't have to give the person an L. Not to say that not to discipline or whatever, like discipline even sounds like wrong anymore, but not to say not to discipline, but just like I said before, I don't think the way society treats someone and the way that your parent treats you should be the same. And yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to just wrap it up in a little bow, because, you know, it was just, I don't know, you know, sometimes I talk and it's just like, you know, he just keep on going.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
And I feel like beat their ass. It's like, no.
See, that's what I mean.
That's how I want to wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm good.
If he hit you, hit his ass back.
I'm glad.
Thank you for coming. Good night.
After all of that hour-long discussion, you be like, yeah, I still feel the same way I felt before. The end. Yeah, so that was it. That was the majority of it. All right. You said you do have a would you rather?
Yeah, it's probably not going to take us through. Well, it might, because that's how we go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get started then. Welcome to DM Therapy. We are your hosts, Omar and Khadijah. I don't feel like you could say your name without saying it like that. Khadijah. Shout out to Living Single. Living Single.
Yes, Living Single.
Right. I'm hip. I'm in the know. DM Therapy is two lifelong friends that usually spend most of our time talking to each other on Instagram, or you know, that funny meme of like, we got several streams of conversation going on all throughout the day. I'm gonna text you this, I'm gonna email you this meme, I'm gonna DM you, I'm gonna, you know, all day long. But we were like, hey, let's start a podcast and bring our discussion to the real-ish internet-ish world. You know, after we do these a lot, I'm just going to get way better at this. But until then, you're going to get freshman podcast, and it's just going to be like that. But welcome anyway. We're happy that you're here, and we're just going to get started. So, surprise, surprise, Khadijah has a question for today. So, why don't you start us off?
All right. Would you rather go through life unable to forget anything ever, or go through life unable to remember anything?
Go through life unable to forget anything, or
you'll remember everything that's ever happened in your life, or you go through life and you can't remember anything that's happened to you?
Well, to be honest, I feel like for the most part, I can't forget anything that happens to me. Like, you know what I mean? I remember being in the movie theaters at 2, like watching Empire Strikes Back in the drive-through, and my family has verified that that was a thing that happened. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I have what you call, I think this is I got this from like Big Bang Theory, but I think I have what you call an eidetic memory, where it's like things are very, very vivid to me. It's not like it's not always exact, but I can get myself like very, very close to times and in situations. Like, and if we talk about it enough, I can transport myself right back to that memory, right back to that moment. And I kind of like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I am somebody that relies very heavily on facts, you know, and I want to be, no, I said this and it was on April 15th, and, you know, and because I don't know, whatever, we were talking about trauma responses in the last one, but like, because whatever is, you know, that I have to work on or something, you know, my work is that I have a problem with people telling me that I am saying something incorrectly or I am mischaracterizing myself. I don't want to be mischaracterized. I don't want to be misunderstood. So I try to very much have things laid out where I'm giving the best representation of myself. Having said that, I do wish sometimes that I was like blissfully ignorant of things, you know, that I didn't have the background, that I didn't have any context to stuff. I could just go into things like very freely or just experience things as they are without context. I don't know which one I would prefer. I mean, I like how my life is for the most part, so I guess I would. Don't like not knowing, so it doesn't make me feel safe. So I guess I would pick not forgetting anything, and in the context of the question, it's like, oh, to me, it feels like almost like a superpower. So it would just be me on 100, you know. And, so
I asked the question for 2 reasons though, because A, yes, you are screenshot, you know, 2012 will go back. Like, remember you had said, and because you're like that and I'm so not like that, like I literally forget like, you know, 2 hours later. And sometimes, I mean, you don't know this, but sometimes I'll have to scroll back up in our conversation to remember what I was even talking about in the first place.
No, I do know that because it'll be like minutes later, not like.
Yeah, because I'm like, wait, what? What did I even say to make him say that? But I'm still like in a conversation, like I didn't walk away or anything. Like I said something, you said something, I said something, you said something, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But I wasn't always like that. Like that's how I learned in school. Like people used to think that, and I'm not saying that I'm not smart, but people used to think that I was really smart because you only had to tell me one time and I remembered, or you only had to show me how to do a thing one time. Right. You showed me how to do the equation one time. I got it. I didn't have to spend, you know, hours studying, although I would, because I really wanted to learn. I have a big thing of learning, and it's hard for me now to be this way because when I blocked parts of my life out, I blocked everything out. So even things that I might have learned at that time, I had to like go back and relearn. Like I know the Pythagorean theorem. Like, why don't I know? Like when the kids are doing, I'm like, I literally got a scholarship for engineering. Like I know calculus. Like I know this, but why can't I remember it?
Why do you think that is?
My son said the same thing.
Oh, really?
What you said. He said he remembers every single thing that ever happened to him, like everything, and that's what it bothers him. Like so, he remembers every good thing. But he also remembers every single bad thing that happens, and it stresses him out. Like he, you know, has moments where he's really upset because he remembers everything. So that's why I asked the question, because I'm like, just the comparison between the two of us, the way that I am and the way that you are.
But why do you think that is, though? Like, why do you think that it's hard for you now to remember things?
I think I'm still living in survival. Like I think I'm still in that stage of my life. I don't think I haven't gotten to the point where I'm actually living. Like I'm basically I was talking to Kendra about this today. She was saying like, you seem like you're just like operating like a robot sometimes. Like, because I have so much going on, in order for me to be able to be okay and not have a nervous breakdown, I have to not care about certain things and push things out of my mind. And because I'm older now and I had the conversation with you and the therapist, I realized that's probably why I forgot before. I didn't know why, but because like I'm aware of it now and I'm living in it now, I see when I forget things, because I'm just, that doesn't matter. The baby is sick. That doesn't matter. I got to get the money. I got to go do hair. Like, this doesn't matter. So it's kind of like the SpongeBob episode. I think I told you about that one, Squilliam.
Yeah, because I don't know who Squilliam is.
Squilliam is like Squidward's, like, you know, biggest adversary.
Yeah, arch
like
nemesis. Yeah,
he wears the little robe and all that.
That's
rich
so
bull.
funny.
And he wanted the restaurant, and he basically told SpongeBob, like, don't be a weirdo. Don't embarrass me in front of him. Forget everything that you know about being SpongeBob, and you just have to focus on being the best waiter ever. So he, like, the little SpongeBobs in his brain, like, threw everything out so he could be the best SpongeBob. And that's literally an interpretation of how I live. Like, I have to throw everything out in order to be, like, and I don't want to say shell and people try to like 302 me or something like that. But like to be the person that you see in front of you, I have to like get rid of some of that stuff to do it. That's just, you know, based off of our conversations, my therapist conversation, that's kind of what I've come up with. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but.
So I feel that, right? I wonder, though, because the way that sounds to me is like, okay, so I've taken the chunk of my life, because, all right, let me try to relate. So I chalk mine up to kind of be getting older, not like, oh, you old and forgetful, but I think of my memory, you know, I'm a robot too. I think of my memory like a Rolodex, right? So the Rolodex can only hold so much stuff. So when I feel like I learned something new, or I take in something new that I feel that my body or whatever feels like is going to suit me for the now, one of those things has to come out. It's not that it's not there anymore. It's just I got to take that one out of the thing because it's so much. It's already full up. You know what I'm saying? I'm 40, whatever, 40. I don't know. I don't even know how old I am. That's one of the things I took out, probably for my benefit. But for all this time, I've been building up knowledge, you know, and I know a lot of little things about a lot of different things, right? So, you know, I can't keep that anteater fact in my head as much as I might have wanted it. You know, I can't keep that one. So I feel like new knowledge is pushing old knowledge to the side, not out, but to the side. Like if I could sit in my mind palace for a couple of days or hours, like we were talking about in the last one, the guy who was having a good time on his podcast singing a song. I could not recall that at that minute, but 3 days later, it just jumped in my head, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it was that song." Or randomly, I saw Jessie J, and I was like, "Oh, that's the song." Like, you know. Mm-hmm. So it takes longer to recall. Do you have those moments, or do you feel more like it's gone?
Up until probably like 2 weeks ago, I thought that it was completely gone.
Okay.
Like I couldn't recall anything. And it's like I have a feeling, a knowing that a situation may have happened. I don't know what the situation, like, I have a feeling of knowing that, you know, maybe my mom was a certain type of way towards me, but I can't recall what she did to make me feel that way. I have a feeling of, you know, I know that I have an issue with this person. I don't know what it is, or this person I'm really friends with, and I don't know what it is. Like, even when we started talking again, like I'm like, we talk like that. Like, I don't even remember that. Like, but I'll remember something crazy, like you wrote this on the back of my picture. But I don't remember like ever like having conversations with you like in school or something like that.
That's
but
so
mind
funny.
you, I'm 13. I'm 14. Yeah. Why don't I remember that? But I've been talking to a friend from when I was younger. And I started to remember some things, not even related to us, but like I remember like that's why I kind of want to like scrap my book and throw it away, because I feel bad now, because I'm like, not saying that, you know, the ways that I feel about mom, you know, aren't valid, but I had a memory of when her and my dad, they used to take me to this restaurant. I can't remember the name. I just remember it being like green or something like that, but they had like crab legs every Monday or something like that, or you can eat it was either Chestnut Street or Walnut Street, and we used to do that all the time. And then I remember that we used to go to Dave and Buster's all the time. But all he said was like, you and your mom always used to get into it. 2 people said that to me from back in the day. And I'm like, yeah, we did. And then that sparked that memory. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm like actively trying to seek these memories now. Before it was just like, I don't remember. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to me, it seems like, though, that person is taking you back to that time, like to that time frame, and it's like a time, like almost like a time capsule, you know, where it's like, oh, I remember this feeling, like when I when I was I don't know how old I was, when I was like 12, I went to Australia, and when I was over there, you know, I was watching TV. I was there for like 3 weeks, and we were watching TV, but you know, they didn't have like shows like we had shows. They had Australia shows, or at least like British shows or whatever. And there was 2 shows that I watched like probably every night before I went to sleep, and that was Mr. Bean and this show called Are You Being Served? About it was like all these people in a in like a department store in England, I guess, and you know, all the hilarity that ensued, all the hijinks that they got into. But every time I hear the theme song to Are You Being Served, I'm 12 years old again. I can feel how I felt. I'm doing for people that listen, I'm doing my Will Smith right now. I could feel how I felt that time, you know. This is pre-controversy. You know, I could feel that feeling, like, you know, I could feel that, like, I think what you're saying, like, kind of like the ghost of, or the essence of that time period. I don't feel like right now me, I feel like 12-year-old me that was experiencing something kind of for the first time. And I love it. Like, you know, I might put that theme song on just to kind of feel that thing, you know. This is going to sound creepy, but it's not creepy. I drive on the way to work. I drive by a high school, and I see like the little young boys like trying to like put their arm around the girls, and like or maybe like somebody like a couple is like holding hands and stuff. I'm like, oh, I remember feeling that way, like for the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It takes me back. It's like not something that I actively think about all day long, but it's certain things that put me right back into that kind of, I want to say nostalgic feeling, but it's more than that. It's more, maybe nostalgia is that broad, but it's more than that. It feels like, oh, I'm 15 years old getting my first kiss, or whatever the thing is, you know. I feel that way. So I feel like, or I wonder rather, if you interacting with this person is jarring some of that time of your life memories and bringing them to the forefront. I think it's the same thing that I was just talking about, like bringing up the Rolodex and saying like, oh, remember these information? Like, I wonder if you could access things from that time like the Pythagorean theorem. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if
Mm-hmm.
you were in that, if you like are spending time with that person and then try to do a math problem, could you do it? You know what I'm saying? Could you
Mm-hmm.
access that?
Well, I can do it now because I was like, wait, hold up.
No. But you
Certain
know what I'm
things
saying?
I can't, like, I'm mad that I didn't know. I had to relearn,
Yeah.
like, teach
Oh, well,
myself because I
you
was frustrated about it. But
No, I'm not mad at that though either.
yeah, like, I don't, and that, and like, even now I tell people, like, if somebody wanted me to be a notary, and I'm like, bro, like, I don't think I have any space left to learn anything new like that. But I don't know, like, because I've had my friends since I was 12. I've had friends since before that. Like, I've known people, like, we were born, our parents had us a month apart. We've known each other since then. And so you would think that them being in my life, like, they say stuff all the time. I'm like, what? I don't remember that.
Yeah, but they were constantly a part of it, so you can't introduce that as a catalyst into your life. You can't, like, they won't draw. It's like, just like anything that you do every day, they're a part of that everyday life. Like you and I, we had like a 10-year or something, or maybe more, kind of break of like everyday interaction. It's probably longer than that, right? Of everyday interaction. So I experienced that when we started like talking every day, because I was like, oh yeah, remember this and remember that and remember, and so as opposed to somebody like, I'm trying to think of one of our mutual friends, but we're all kind of all over the place now. Like once you get like 40, it's like, well, nobody talks to each other every day, or it has to be like this, where it's like, oh, that's something I used to enjoy. Let's I want to do that again. But like my brother, or my kind of adopted brothers, we've known each other the whole time, where so they wouldn't give me a sense of nostalgia per se until we kind of all get together and we're like having a conversation of like, oh, remember this, remember that, and we might all have a collective consciousness of a thing. So everybody has bits and pieces that makes that memory, but somebody that represents a time and comes from that time. So it's like the theme song I was talking about, represents a time and comes from that time, makes it a little bit different. The next thing, though, that I kind of want to delve into, and we can cut this out if you want to or not, but it also sounds like there are things that inadvertently jumped into times that were tumultuous for you that you pushed out of the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, calculus jumped in there with that one bad time that I was having on accident, and now it's gone, which I feel like you see like on the movies and stuff. Or like, I wonder if this is why you asked me this, but you asked me the other day, like if you had amnesia, what what would I say to you to kind of jar your memory? Is that why you said that?
Because I really think about this a lot. Like I don't have amnesia, but it kind of feels like it sometimes. And I was thinking because, my brother-in-law passed away. So, I've lost two brothers. I lost my dad. And I said, having a conversation, I said, I don't remember what my brother sounds like. And I'm starting to forget what my dad sounds like. Right. And he said, really? I still remember what my brother sounds like. And our brothers passed away around the same time. And I'm like, really? You still remember that? But he's the type of person that I remember when I was 9 months old in the bathtub and the cops busted in the room. Like, that really happened. His mom confirmed it. So, of course, you would remember that. But it just made me feel some type of way a little bit, like, damn, like, I can't recall of what, and I've seen pictures. It's a picture of me and my brother. I got on like a pair of my mom's shoes, like a wig or something like that. And like we're both cracking up in the picture. I don't remember that time at all, but I'm clearly like 10.
Oh, and not even looking at the picture will take you back to that.
I cannot remember. I remember not remembering my brother he went to Glen Mills. I remember not remembering my brother then. Like, I remember not remembering certain things even when I was younger. Like, it's not that I'm older now and I don't remember. I remember being younger, not remembering things, like going through, like being a teenager, not remembering certain things, not recalling certain things. Like when he was in Glen Mills, I remember like forgetting like what he looked like almost.
Yeah.
And this is, you got to get my book full of details, but
yeah.
like, you know, I got teased really bad in school, right? And so I just remembered that my brother looked like my mom. I thought my mom was so pretty. I'm like, my brother is so handsome. So I used to say this to people, and this is horribly sad thinking about it now, but I used to be like, well, my brother is really cute though. Right. As if like, you telling me I'm ugly, I'm horrible. And I'm like, well, my brother is cute, like referencing him, trying to recall what he looked like. I couldn't remember. I'm like, I think he looked like Ronnie DeVoe off New Edition. So I'm telling people this. My brother don't look nothing like that man. Okay. I remember telling him, I'm like in the 5th grade telling people this.
Yeah. I feel like I remember you saying that.
You remember me saying that?
No, I'm saying you said that to me. And you know, in the preamble to the podcast, I feel like I remember that.
So it's like I remember being. Well, how old are you in the 5th grade? However old you're in the 5th grade.
10 or 11. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being 10 or 11, forgetting what my brother looked like, and he wasn't in Glen Mills for 100 years.
I'm about to say, how long was he gone?
A year, probably.
But so to me, that though highlights kind of the other side of this thing, where it's like him going away is a traumatic experience, right? And maybe that's when that started happening, like, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, the idea of, you know, all right, well, this traumatic thing happens, and now, all right, well, we can't, like you said, I have to move forward. I have to move forward from this thing. So I don't have a brother. Like, you know, I'm not, you know, I don't have a brother, but, you know, I don't have that memory in that way. It's reminding me of a movie where it's just like, all right, well, that didn't happen. Oh, was it, I can't remember. Say, this is the memory episode. Dang, I can't remember. But it reminds me of a movie where, you know, a lot of movies have these kind of same tropes, but it's just like, okay, well, I can't remember this thing, so now it's being deleted from, you know, from my timeline, or something is happening in the present and it's making that thing in the past delete from my timeline. I think that's just a timeline trope.
But it's weird though, because I'm not gonna say I remember everything bad that happened. I remember being teased, but I don't remember like you know, I'm sure it was something good in my life then, like, you know. But that made me think of the movie. Did you see the movie with Robin Williams?
Well, that's What Dreams May Come.
Is that it? No, I don't know if that's the name of it, but so when you died, the funeral home took your brain, your memories, right? And they uploaded it, and then the funeral home created a video for everybody to watch. And what they were doing was, I think the one Robin Williams was like the funeral home boy, I think. And the one memory he got, the person was like molesting the daughter or something like that. And he was having like a moral issue, like, because of course you want them to delete that out. He was like beating on his wife. Like, so they were removing all that stuff and then giving you this beautiful picture. And it makes me think of that. Like, if I'm replaying like my life back, there's somebody like, oh no, let's take that out. And then you get this other picture. I can't think of the name of that movie. It was a really, really good movie. I'm
gonna look while we doing that, but I just
you gotta watch. It's good.
It just reminds me of there's a comedy trope where two that I'm thinking of, where it's just like, you know, there's a person in power and he has like an assistant and he's like, what's that movie I like, you know, with Sylvester Stallone, and the guy's like, Rambo. He's like, no, he's like in the jungle and like, you know, he's like by himself and he has to like save the day, and he's like, no, Rambo, and he's like, no, and he's like, you know, and then just describes it. So that's not what happened. The thing that actually happened was the other trope where you're like, what's that thing that I like? And I was so confident because I know every Robin Williams movie. And but really what just happened just now is I was thinking of What Dreams May Come, but I don't think that's the movie either of the trope that I was trying to explain. But you were like, what's that movie? And I thought we were like doing a thing, and you're like, no, that's not it. And it made me think of the other comedy trope that you hear, where it's just like somebody will be like, what's that movie? And then somebody will just say a movie that just doesn't have anything to do with anything that they're talking about. Phillips,
That's when we're watching The Masked Singer. That's how my kids are. They'll be like, I don't know, Black China. Like, you know, darn well that's not Black China. Or he'll be like, Jamie Foxx. Now, you know Jamie Foxx. The last time they was like Steve Harvey. You know damn well Steve Harvey not on The Masked Singer right now. He
could be. Steve Harvey, out of those three people, well, I guess Black China. I'm so invested in Black China right now. Like her, I don't really know nothing about her, but I've been watching, for whatever reason, she's been popping up on my timeline stuff. I guess she's like revamping herself and like doing this whole thing and taking out her like implant or whatever. I don't know, whatever the things are. I got very invested like one Saturday. I was like, oh, that's nice. You know?
I'm writing an article about her.
Oh, really? I don't really know nothing about her except for like, is she like Kardashian adjacent or whatever?
Yes, she is Rob Kardashian's baby mom.
Oh, all right.
And then her, Blac Chyna's baby father, is Kylie Jenner's baby father. Okay, so Blac Chyna had a baby by the brother, right? And Blac Chyna's first baby father had a baby by the Kardashian sister.
Oh.
You know I love a little celebrity drama and gossip.
So I'm glad we're talking about what we're talking about, because these are the things. This is the thing that will not go into the Rolodex at all.
But exactly, like, why is it in mine?
I mean,
I said, why is it in my Rolodex?
Well, that's the other thing.
I don't remember where my mom took me a special moment, but I know who baby father, who baby mom.
Well, here's the thing about that though, man. Like for me, I don't know who I was telling, but I just sound like Bill Cosby. I erased.
That's really good though.
Kim Kardashian, a Kardashian news thing off of my like Facebook feed, off of my Google feed, Instagram or whatever, at least 4 times a day. Like, I do not want to see things about the Kardashians. No, disrespect or whatever to the Kardashians. Really I just don't want to see it. I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to fix my algorithm because they are dead press and shout out to them because they obviously have become, the most important or the most whatever, the biggest story in the world, right? Or one of the biggest stories in the world. But I do not care, like one bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I had the thought the other day, now it's gonna be the bash the Kardashians.
I love segment. The Kardashians.
Well, here's the thing, right? Everybody's getting. I just saw an article.
I love
the
them
other
in
day.
secret, though.
What'd you say?
In secret, I only love them in secret.
Oh, you low key love them.
I would never.
You're a closet Kardashian.
Yeah, be like, never.
Yeah.
I just, that meme where you in the dark looking. Yeah. That's the meme, but you can't laugh at it. That's me. I'm not gonna like this. I ain't gonna like it.
You in the room.
Yeah.
And you had the computer. You're like.
Yo, that's funny. I swear that's me. The kids be like, Mom, are you like, oh.
That's so funny. No, I mean, so I don't even know if I should go here. I might cut this out later too. We're just gonna cut everything. But it's just like everybody was getting on because that's what I was saying. I just saw an article recently. There's another, Rachel Dolezal person, right? She's like a Muslim, quote unquote Muslim activist person. Mm-hmm. And she's white. Like she's a white girl. Like she is not Muslim. She is not black. She is not any of those things, according to her mom. She was. So I'm like, we get on these people, like they got on Rachel so bad, like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't, whatever. That was a crazy story and all that stuff. But it's like the people that are famous. This is the thing about fame. We could talk a whole day about that. But the people that we like that do those things, they get a different set of rules applied to them than than other people. Like, for all intents and purposes, Rachel was, I guess, doing good things in the community. Like, you know what I'm saying? She just so happened to be, she just identified as black, but
you can identify as anything you want to be. Yeah. 2023.
Yeah. But I can't identify as not oppressed, though.
Listen,
that's
a whole nother show.
As much as I try. I'm like, I'm gonna walk outside. Then I'll go, oh no, gotta go back.
Identify as white. Excuse me, I'm a white.
No, sir. But like, we don't get on these people that, you look at a 1992 picture of the Kardashian family, and it's like, who are these white people? Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who are these white people? And then it's like, yo, now it's just like they was like, oh, I want this black attribute, and I want this black attribute, and I want this black attribute, and I'm gonna potentially get famous off of that thing. And I can't speak on it because it's in my periphery. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know them. I'm not a fan like you. But I don't know. It used to be on like in the gym, so I might have caught like 2 or 3 of them, but like all the screens, like one of the drones be on whatever channel it comes on. But it's like, the point is, I could care less about these people, like, but like every day I have to like erase, and it doesn't change. It's like, oh, you don't like him? How about whatever, Kylie?
Courtney.
Kylie.
How about Chloe? Do you like Chloe?
Chloe. That's the other one. And really, the only one I kind of like is the short one of the 3. What's the other one? What's her name?
Courtney, Kylie.
Y'all can't hear the face that Khadijah made just now. But she like, that one? What's wrong with that one? Courtney. What's wrong with Courtney?
Because Courtney is horrible.
What's wrong with it? I don't know. So you like, you don't
even see like the little. Oh, you said you take them off. I was gonna say the little TikTok meme, the videos when they talk about Courtney is just, she's the only one that hasn't had a whole bunch of plastic surgery, supposedly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
She is so like, oh my God, I'm so much better than you guys. I'm a mom. She's like that type of person. And
right.
My girl Kim, she out here, she's the mogul. She's the,
mm-hmm.
So it's just funny. And she actually, Kim slapped the crap out of her.
So she didn't do nothing bad. She just has basically stayed the most the same, and
she's like the least favorite, but she's still Kendall is really the most incognito one. Really, you don't really see her. She's the really tall younger one.
I'm so sad at how this conversation.
The 2 younger ones are the
I said specifically that I do not care about these people, and we started this podcast off so well.
It's funny because my therapist doesn't like them either, but we talk about them and she says the same thing because she is like unbelievable to her. Like, after talking to you for all these months, I don't know what made me say, I was saying something and she was goodness. Like, wait, what? You like the Kardashians? And we literally spent 20 minutes with her trying to figure out why the heck I like the Kardashians. I have a very good reason why I like them. We can talk about it later, but I have a reason why I like them.
Listen. Feel your feelings. Tell me. Can you tell me? Because I feel like, you're actively doing to me what you say you're suffering from. I feel like my brain cells like.
I'm not going to bring your brain cells out. This is a DM conversation. I will tell you why I like the Kardashians. Because when I tell you,
memory.
When I tell you, you're gonna be like, "What?" And it's gonna go into a whole nother parenting.
Okay. All right. I can't do it. I love y'all Kardashians. Y'all do y'all thing. Oh my goodness.
So I would like My answer is I would like to remember everything.
Yeah, well,
The only thing
I
about
would
that
think so.
is remembering all the bad stuff too. Like I don't, like some stuff you want to be able to forget. Like if you can't forget anything, you remember everything. I think that would kind of like torment me too. Like the
You
things that
said
I
you already
kind
remember
of
the
glad.
bad stuff, though, right? You
Not
said,
everything. I know some bad things happen that I don't
yeah.
remember. I just know that something bad happened. I just have that
Right, you have the
feeling.
essence of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad I don't remember to a certain degree. Like I kind of want to. We kind of talked about getting like hypnotized and stuff, but like if I come out that joint like what?
Yeah.
This happened to me?
I wonder though, is that we gonna cut all that stuff.
Do not cut my girls out. Do not do them like that. Do
Because
not.
then it's like I just gave them. I'm talking about erasing them from societal view, and I just gave them 15 minutes of free. They're not even a sponsor.
They don't need it. They do not.
I know,
need
that's
it.
what I'm saying. We do though, you know what I'm saying? Somebody need to tell Kim that, you know what I'm saying, we mentioned her on our little program.
Tell Kim I love her and we want her as a guest on the show.
Oh my goodness gracious. Even though I would love, listen, I'm not gonna lie, I would love to talk to her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like get into that mind a little bit and see how much is TV, you know what I'm saying, and how much, that I will concede, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't give up the opportunity to speak to her. But I don't know. if I come out of it and everything that I had imagined was true,
You're gonna come out drinking Starbucks and eating salads.
Well, I like Starbucks most of the time.
See?
I like salads, but that's not that. Those things exist without Kardashians. I don't know if you know that. It's like no, Kim Kardashian invented Starbucks,
and I like salads.
And they invented salad, and then Beyonce invented everything.
You said.
No, but. I'm trying to have serious, insightful conversations here, and you keep on pulling me back into.
Please tell me the way you said it, though.
No. Did I do a voice sound?
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. But what I was saying though is that you already remember some bad things, right? So I wonder if, there has to be some kind of, like when we were talking about getting hypnotized and things like that, but there has to be some kind of session that you could do where it's like, oh, let's take you to this thing, let's take you to that thing. And I think that's cool. That's why I want you to come to meditation, man. Like I haven't been in a while, but the person that I go to, I feel like they might be able to, and we were talking about too, getting a past life regression, John too. But I think that would be real dope to do, just to kind of get a little bit of insight.
But do you think it's like benefit and like trying to remember those things, because you might, remember some good memories, but you might, pick up something crazy. Like it's a reason why it could just be that I just have a bad memory, but I know it's not.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean,
I think if your brain said no.
Yeah, I think there's value to being to hearing or to experiencing those things in order to be free in the now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like not you, but one blocks things out and it becomes blockage. I just heard something, it was either today or last night, where the person was saying, I'm going to take a long pause here because I really want to get it right. But it made me think about me. I don't know. He was saying something about relationships and basically how he was saying about like how blockage blocks you from being free. Like, if you live in a situation where somebody wronged you, or you live in a place where somebody has where you felt slighted or hurt or any of those things. And that's the weird thing about the mind, that those things can live in your body, you know what I'm saying, and in your soul, and block you in ways that you don't know that you're being blocked. You know what I'm saying? Probably a lot of us think like, oh, why can't I succeed in this thing? And it's like there's a direct line from this thing to that success. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking to my brother the other day about a thing that I think we all experience, but imposter syndrome. He's a writer, you know what I'm saying? And he writes these like really great, like fantastic movies and things. Shout out to him. But there's a part of us, for whatever reason, that's like, I don't deserve that thing. Like, I mean, like, I put out so much stuff, like, but there's still a part of me that's like, nobody will like this. Like, I mean, nobody will be into this, or, what if the imposter syndrome is the most interesting, because it's like, it's almost like fear of success, like, which is those two things that, like, that sentence just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I be scared of being successful? But the thing is about imposter syndrome is, the thing I always hear is that people are like, what if they find out that I'm not really the thing that I say that I am? But it's almost like injected into the fact that you created a thing, that you are that thing. So it's like a weird catch-22, or kind of double-edged sword, or double-sided coin, or whatever you want to call it. But it as but we all feel that thing, and I don't know why maybe it's just human nature to feel that way, but I don't know why we're all inclined to feel that way. I was just talking to my kids. I feel like we could play like a drinking game for listeners, that every time I say I was just talking to my kids, they got to take a drink. But I was just talking to my kids in one of my classes this week, and I asked them, what do you think your life would be like if, from the time you were born until now, every day somebody said you could be whatever you wanted to be? And then not only that, but the whole world conspired to make that happen, and like, what do you think how different your life would be? How do you answer? Can you answer that?
I don't know. I kind of think people have always said that. The people.
No, but I mean, like, really meant it, for one, and also not just lip service, but really meant it. But then, when you stepped out the door, everything in the world reinforced that, because we were talking about privilege, right? So everything in the world reinforced that idea. How do you?
I think I probably would be like living like the Kardashians, like, no, but no, because that's part of the reason why I like them, though. But I think that I would, my life would be totally different.
In what ways?
Just the first thing I think of is, like, I had my son when I was 19. But that came about because, like, I didn't have anybody, because I was teased and I had self-esteem issues. So it was easy to be in a situation like that, because it felt like, oh, somebody sees me, somebody thinks I'm pretty, somebody likes me, in a whole lot of different ways that I felt during that time. But if I had people around me saying, hey, you are pretty, you are worth something, you are special, go to college and do, like, I had a whole scholarship, but didn't really feel like a big deal. Right. Looking back, when you have conversations with people and they're like, you did? for engineering, and
Yeah.
you're good at math. I'm like, well, I kind of used to be,
Yeah.
but if it was, a big deal, and then everybody around me, was pushing me towards that, because I pretty much did it all myself. I did the college application myself. Financial aid. I had to figure it all out myself. I bought a house when I was 20. I had to
Oh, I
figure
didn't
it.
know that.
Yeah, to figure out what a mortgage was. I kind of was like, well, I don't know. I had a conversation with somebody, and I'm just like, it doesn't make sense to rent if I could buy a house and it's cheaper. But I don't know anything about home ownership.
Right.
My mom owned the home.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know anything about it, so I had to figure it out myself. So I think if I didn't have those challenges, I think with what I accomplished without having all of that, I can't imagine where I would be. Like, I probably literally would have tons of businesses and workout gear with a ponytail, Starbucks, a salad, just chilling, no worries. In my 40s, I would have been able to retire. Like, my plan was to retire by the time I was 45. I think I could have accomplished that a lot sooner, if I didn't have the other challenges that, I was facing if I had everybody,
And that kind of speaks to, I don't know if we talked about this on here, but did we talk about the hierarchy of needs?
Yep.
Yeah. So in that
did we
moment,
talk about it on here? I think you just sent it
I
to
don't
me.
know.
It was a DM conversation.
Because it's like one of my favorite things to talk about. So, but in that moment, your need to be successful was being kind of usurped or beaten by your need to be seen and accepted, like, what I'm saying. So that was the most important thing. That was the most important thing to you, so that and nobody was able to tell you that, oh no, this thing will get you into the place that you want to be, where where you can also be, or that's another channel of being seen and accepted by being successful. That's maybe a longer path, but a different path. But I'm just
like, you are seen. You don't need to be accepted.
Right.
Love, be happy within yourself. Like, I was, always thinking, like, you needed somebody else to make you happy, or like, just a lot of things. But it's not because somebody told me anything, it's because nobody said anything. And I'm not, faulting anybody, but the era that I came from and the type of feeling that I had, it's full of, stay in a kid's place. Nobody shared any life stories unless something happened to you already. So if something bad or good happened to you in a big way, you would never know that anybody else in your family experienced it until it happened to you. And then they, tried, to, I guess, relate or share with you or whatever. Yeah. But that's why I share with my children. And then, I don't know. I don't even really, like, they get annoyed when I tell them that they can do anything. Like, they get annoyed and frustrated.
What you mean?
Like, I don't know. Say, somebody wants to start, I don't know, crocheting or something. And I'll be like, oh, that's dope. Like, you can get an ST shop and blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, oh, God, Mom, here you go. Or I'm like, what? Like, I'm thinking, you're good at that. You could do this. Or, like, you draw really well. You should probably, they got the NFTs now. You get, oh, my God. And I'm like, what? I wish somebody would have said, girl, you good at math. Here's a program. I found my own engineering explorers program myself when I was in, like, the 11th grade. Like, I had somebody like, hey, girl, I see that in you. Let's, like, what you do for your kid. You know what I mean? Like, if I had that, and then everybody in the neighborhood, and then all my friends and all my teachers and everybody was pushing me, who knows where I would be.
But it's funny, because in that situation, and you don't ever want to listen to your parents say, like, oh, of course they're going to believe. Of course they kind of believe in you a little bit. If you got any parents worth their salt, they're going to say that thing like, oh, you could do this. But you in particular are a funny situation because you're a hustler, like, you know what I'm saying? So you've made businesses and you like a lot of things. And it's funny because I don't know if you even see this about yourself, but you have done a lot of things. Like most of the time when you and I talk, you'd be like, I was thinking about such and such. And then the next time I talk, you was like, yeah, I took this class that, you know, and I got certified in this thing. Or, you know, I talked to the president today and, and he going to give me $500,000 to run. And then the next week, like you on to the next thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we talked about that too. That could be a different episode as well. But you know, I feel like then we're getting into the, all right, mom, you a hustler. I ain't finna be a hustler. Like I ain't trying to like, just because I do this thing doesn't mean I'm trying to make a conglomerate out of it. But it does, I think, tie into the fact that most people don't have vision like you do because there's this like false sense of quote unquote reality, whereas it's like, well, everybody don't become famous, like, you know, and which is crazy because this is kind of what I was talking about. And I'm trying to say the thing that I'm trying to say without getting to that thing because I don't want every episode to be about this thing that everybody that's listening knows what I'm talking about. But I feel like there are certain people that do have that support system, and then the world supports that as well. And they do those things. I used to always say, like, and this is before TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff, where literally anybody could create something now and become a millionaire, you know, go viral doing it or whatever it is. But in early days of like Travel Channel and like VH1 and things, like I used to always be fascinated by like people like, you know who Bear Grylls is? You know, or like Bear Grylls, like he did this thing. I can't remember the name of the show now, and like I hope everybody's like correcting people want me to comment on what it is. But he had this show, and it's basically like a survivalist show, like, you know, man
versus Wild.
Versus Wild. Thank you, Man versus Wild. I think that's him. And he would just kind of be dropped in the middle of a place and he would survive. Like, you know, he would show how he survived, you know, but I guess that's an extreme thing because he does have a skill set. But like, I would always be fascinated by people like that in early days, you know, like late 90s, early 2000s, where I'm like, how did you get a platform for this? How did you get rich off of this? Like, how did you convince people to send a camera crew behind you and watch you do this? Like, you know, I like taking pictures, and, you know, there are people that shoot for magazines that, you know, they only do like 3 jobs a year, but the job that you get is, I'm going to fly you to Antarctica to take pictures of this one phenomenon that happens, you know, once a year, you know, and I'm going to give you, you know, $1 million for, I don't know how people get paid, but I would love to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm sitting here in West Philly with imposter syndrome, and somebody told this person somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Or they just had the that internal feeling that they could, more than the general population of people who are like, no, I gotta go work at the post office to get money because bills are happening now. Like, where is the difference? Where does that line at? Where, like, why did he feel like, you know, why did cameraman feel like, oh, this is what I want to do in life versus, you know, me in West Philly? And this is a thing that I always bring up with my kids too. Everybody drink. Is how different we would be if we were born in different places. Like, if you were born in California and had all of the ideas that you have, you might have been around enough people that were like-minded and wanted to cultivate those things that that you might have done those things in that way. I mean, like you said, you've done those things from West Philly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Imagine what you would have done, or what you can still do, but how different that would be with the proper background, the backdrop is what I'm trying to say. Like, or if we were born, the one that always messes me up is like, if we were born in the Middle East, we might all be Muslim. Like, you know what I mean? As opposed to everybody here is kind of like, well, any old thing, but like the majority of quote unquote Americans have a Christian kind of background. But if you're born, yeah, like,
that's
but
it,
if yeah, say it again. So yeah, it's just like a weird, it's a weird thing. Like, so we value here on the East Coast, there's a lot of more people, and it's changing, it is changing, but a lot of people on the East Coast value blue collar work, and like, and then like, obviously in the Middle East, in the middle, I'm just going to cut that out. In the middle of the country, it's like farming and big families and things like that. And then on the East Coast, they're like, what? I'm going to make a show. Like, what I'm saying?
And the people who become famous are the people who live in the farming areas and say, I want to do this. And like, my thing is, like with the kids, like, I don't want them to like, you don't have any kids, you don't have any responsibilities. I don't want them to get to 30 and 40 and realize that working a 9 to 5 may not be the best thing, especially when the economy, and not saying that I think everybody should be an entrepreneur or anything like that, but I just feel like you should always have a safety net. Like, had I been thinking like that, well, I kind of always have. Like, literally, when I decided I wanted to be an engineer, it wasn't like I just wanted to go work at an engineering firm. I had a whole plan. I wanted to work at either Boeing, Lockheed Martin. I wanted to start my first, Black women-owned engineer. Like, I had plans, and like, I used to watch Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. Like, I literally was like, just out here, like, no, like, I want to do this thing, and I got to figure out how to do it, but I got all these obstacles that I have to, go around. So that's why when the kids say something to me, I'm like, bro, you don't have to go through all the things. Nobody ever stopped me or blocked anything from me. Like, I had to go through all of that. I don't want you to have to do that. Right. And then to your point about privilege, that's why I like them, because I feel like they, like you just said, if I was born in California, if I was born somewhere else, they literally have a life similar to what I would like to have. Not necessarily all the drama and stuff, but sometimes I think that's why I don't have it, because if I did, I'd probably be putting it all back into the community. I probably wouldn't have it because
you just give it up.
And I don't want to be rich. Right? I just want to have the money so that I can pour into other people. So somebody, you see something in somebody, I want to be able to help you, because I feel like our community, we don't know, like you said, all we know is get a job, go to college, get a job. You go to college, your whole family thinks, it's the best thing since sliced bread. You start a business, they're looking at you funny. You can't do that. How are you going to make money doing that? Oh, you want to be an artist, you're not going to make no money. That's how our community is. And I want to pour into people that want to be artists, that want to be creatives, to help them make money so that they're okay. And I just feel like I want to be able to relax and chill and have my money coming in. And like, I want my like, there are some children who are born, live their whole entire life and die in a bubble. Like, they don't know anything about what goes on in the hood. And I feel like our Black children, and this is probably a whole nother episode, but our Black children deserve to be born into families like that, where you can kind of shield your kids from all the dumb stuff. Like, you can create, if you have the funds, you can create the life you want for your family. There are generations and generations of people who don't, like my boo Harry. I love him.
Harry?
Yes. You don't know Harry?
I don't
Meghan and Harry.
Oh.
White guys with red hair are Black to me. But anyway. Oh. He like, when you read his book, he kind of,
my boy Harry.
he kind of stepped out of that family. But if he didn't, he would never know about what's going on in Africa. Like, all they do is smile for the photo ops, but he really was in the trenches. But like, you could create that life if you had them, like the Queen of England. Like, her kids don't have to worry about the Citizens app going off. They don't even understand.
Yeah.
And I feel like privilege is what. That's why people who have these great imagination, like, hey, Dad, I want to, open this, I want to do that, and you open it and you fail it, and it's fine because here's some more money. Here, you can do it. You can do anything. Or, son, you have to be a doctor because I was a doctor, and they're mad. They don't want to be a doctor, and they're a doctor and they hate it. But you skip the poverty line. You skip the hardship line. You skip the hardship that makes you stronger line. Like, and you lived your whole life, bro, like your whole entire life without real hardship. The most hardship you had was, you didn't want to eat the granola that your mom gave you, so you do it on the floor. You slapped your mom, spit on her and all that. Like, you stressing out about that when there's kids at home taking care of their siblings, figuring out what they're going to eat because their mom is working. Like, that's crazy.
So, I mean, I don't know how we got here, but like, how do you go about switching an ideology? Because it's like we're all experiencing that, right? And us coming from the same place and being brought up in the same place. And it seems like the people that really thrive are those people that, it's funny because that whole Nepo thing has been kind of being tossed around and all that stuff. But it's like, I'm always surprised at how connected some of these overnight stars are. Like, you're not an overnight star. You're just a star that nobody knew about. You're a family that nobody knew about, or family of somebody, and we just didn't know because you changed your name, or oh, don't call me Scorsese, call me how do you go about changing that outlook? Like, what I'm saying? Like, how do
you don't think it's changing? Like, a lot of these kids, like, when you ask them what they want to be now, they want to be YouTube stars, content creators. Not necessarily saying that that's the best thing, but they're starting to look at things differently. But this flip side is what you just said. They think that it took that person 6 months to get here when they really been making videos for 10 years.
Right. Well, I mean, I do think that it's changing. So are you just saying we just wait it out? Because eventually it'll be.
No, I think
because there's way more people feeling the way I think that we were saying that people from here kind of feel like, even though I will tell you this, I offer jobs, I offer money, to some of these students, and nobody's like, no, I don't want to work. Like, what I mean? A lot of them are like, no, I don't want to get no job, and I don't know what they're doing. They're not, like in the life or, doing like nefarious things. They just like, no, I don't want to work. So maybe it's happening more than I think it is. But when I walk outside or when I see, the state of society, it still feels like that it's bad, and a lot of times it feels like it's getting worse and worse. So what's the where's the what am I not seeing? And people are getting, and there are young people and young Black people that are more affluent now, like, what I'm saying, because people are making more money and affording young people more opportunity, right? But you had made a statement earlier where you were like, I'm not saying, oh, everybody should be entrepreneurs, but I don't know, and it's going to get us canceled. I don't know that like communism and socialism aren't kind of the way to be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where everybody just kind of um, does their thing and everybody puts that in to support the society. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, oh, you're a farmer, you're an entertainer, you're, you know, whatever those things are. And all together, we collectively create a society. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not where everybody's trying to, oh, I'm, you know, where capitalism is like more so, I'm just trying to get the most I can get. Like, you know what I mean? But
I absolutely agree. I think there's no reason that there are billionaires
yeah.
and then there are people who are living in poverty. However, some people living in poverty will probably still be in poverty. If you gave them $1 million, they probably still would be, you know.
Well, that's what that's what I'm asking you. So how do you change that thing? Because it's like, I think we were talking about this before, but you know, there's an idea of reparations and things like that. So if everybody was able to get reparations, you know, people of African descent in America were given reparations, what we can, I think, or we have agreed that, and you just said it really, but that everybody wouldn't be in the best position just receiving a lump sum of money. So what needs to change, or what is not happening to make the ideology?
What we talked about before, you have to address the needs first. Right. Like you have to address, like, there's a lot of mental illness in the community that's not addressed, you know, especially in the Black community. It's being misdiagnosed, you know, and then we have to address like those things. And a lot of those people, you know, have mental illnesses. They have a lot of trauma. Almost every Black woman I know has gone through some type of sexual trauma. I know quite a few people that have gone through, you know, domestic violence situations. So all of those things, you know, have to be addressed first. And then we have to keep having these conversations, like the community mindset. Like, that's how I operate. And it's hard. I've talked to you about it. It's hard to do that when people are out for self, but they're out. I think a lot of Black people are out for self because of like, who was the comedian that was talking about this, about how they are in Hollywood, how like if a Black person gets a piece of Hollywood, they like run over into the corner and keep it to themselves because they're fearful of losing it if more people come in. I think we've been conditioned to feel that way and to kind of protect what we have for fear of losing it, because you can see every time, well, it used to be a time where every time a Black person got something, you know, or you got too big, you know, it was taken away from you. So I just think more conversations need to be had. You need to like be a parent to your child. And if you can't, why, that needs to be addressed. Parents are on drugs, so your kid is out here fending for themselves. You know, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the explosion in entrepreneurship from these young girls selling the lashes and the wigs and all that, I think that's a good thing. I don't think that college should be wiped away. I think people should still go to college, but I just think we need to have more of a community mindset within our communities. So even if we are living in a hood, like it was a time where, you know, you came outside, people were sweeping the sidewalk, you know, people had community with each other. You know, you looked after each other's kids. You know, I just feel like if we try some kind of way to get back to that, then we can start talking to the children. I think more of the elders need to reach out to the younger generation. I don't think that's happening like it should be. There are a lot of people dying with all these wonderful stories. I always talk about that. And I think if, you know, we came together more, everybody is sitting by themselves doing their own thing. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to do besides keep talking about it and creating programs and creating events and creating groups like I've been trying to do. And then whoever falls off, falls off. So if I have,
but there's a reason. But there's a reason why that's not happening. Why is that not happening? Why are people not coming to the events? Why is that happening?
Because people want to see you already successful. Like they want to latch onto that. They like the shiny thing. So right. I don't know why that is. I mean, it's worth something trying to like research and look into. I'm sure some studies out there, but I just watched when I was doing a podcast summer earlier. The guy said he bought followers. He bought 5,000 followers. He said he couldn't get past the 800 mark. Once he bought 5,000 followers, people felt like he was something because he had 5,000 followers. He got 1,000 followers. He got 1,000 followers the next week because people were like, "Oh, he's somebody special." So is the perceived? I'm gonna say value, but I don't really think that's the right word. Is how people perceive you that will make other people. So even if your messaging is good, but if people don't already see people behind you, then they don't want to do it. So it's a slow walk, and I find people on the way. I might, get in a group with 20 people, and next thing you know, I got 2 people. And those people stick with me. They support everything I do, but I don't really feel like it's too many people like me that are willing to, I think we should do it together. Like network across. Like I'm not really necessarily trying to reach for you over here. I want the people that are beside me so we can come up together.
Do you think, though, that there aren't people like you or everybody's trying to be like you?
I don't know. I mean, I think you just have to find your people. I think they're there. You just have to find them as you go along. I don't think anybody's trying to be like me. I think people literally want to, they aspire. I think some people aspire to be rich. I don't aspire to be rich. I don't aspire to have all the money. Only reason why I want the money is because I want to help the other people around me. And then I want to be okay. I don't need to be mega rich.
So no, but what I'm asking you is what percentage of people in the world do you think have that same community or communal growth mindset?
Percentage in the world? I don't know.
Like 10%? 5%?
I gotta believe it's more than that.
Okay, so 20%?
I'm gonna say like maybe, I don't know, 40%.
40%. You think 40% of the people in the world are growth
in the whole entire world?
Communal growth mindset. So how many people are in the world?
That's a good question.
It's like 7 billion. That's 28 million people though. Like, you know what I'm saying? So can you do you think you could find 10 of those people in the world to,
that's what I'm saying. You just have to find them. I think you find them by moving through, like you go to a networking group and you think that this is it, but you really find out that, 10 of those people are really about themselves. They're only there to get business for themselves, but you find like that's how.
Yeah, I had the same problem.
Living in the hood. But like I was doing Unique, the MLM, and I met Crystal.
Right.
I don't know what I was doing. I met this girl named Danny. She does makeup and she's like really into it. When I did the networking group, I met the passion strategist. So she's a really good motivational speaker. Anything I ask her to do, she does it. She doesn't charge me anything because she believes in my mission. So, I meet a group of 20 people and then I walk away with 2 people that are on the same page as me. So I think I just have to be more consistent and put myself out there more to meet the people.
All right. Well, listen, I think that's a good place to stop. I don't want to, keep you because I know life be happening on the other side of things, So, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know, but Khadijah's dressed like a real cool person right now. And she has sunglasses on in her home. And
I'm a real cool person.
It's just real cool. It's just like real cool. But we're going to close it off here, and I think we've had many things to think about. We're all over the place in this. This is going to be the best thing to edit ever. I don't know if I'm not keeping any of those ladies who we won't mention because they're not going to be in the podcast.
Oh my god! Call me, girl.
But all right, guys, listen. Don't match energy, model energy. All right. We'll talk to y'all soon.